Got that box up on your screen. You'll have to click the word "got it," clear it out of your way, and then you're good to go. Okay. So just an important principle in your stillness practice. Again, all of these things that I'm sharing with you, the intention and the best use of them is to have them as a regular presence in your day. Sometime in the morning with your cup of tea or coffee or whatever, having a moment where you're sitting, quote unquote, still. But that doesn't mean you are holding yourself rigidly still, especially those of you dealing with the Parkinson's symptoms that, are either sort of shaky or move, the dyskinesia quality. But I'll say that even people without Parkinson's have that same quality. It's like energetic flow in the body is natural. So stillness isn't the absence of any movement. It's the absence of the resistance or obstacle to that which is moving. So that often shows up in our practice as head leaning this way, head going around, circling back. Maybe your shoulders want to shrug way up because they feel tense and stuck. And so you shrug and then you melt and let them come down again. Maybe you shift to your right butt cheek and then to the left butt cheek, which helps to loosen up lower back tension and blockage. So when you're doing your meditation, it isn't holding still. It's stopping outside activity so that you can just be present with what's going on in this vessel of yours, and just allow for this idea that relaxation is a very good thing. And that relaxation isn't a slumping downward, but it's a plumping outward. When you relax, your body actually becomes more spacious, right? And so as you relax, breath by breath, allow for this idea as you look into what's going on in the body, that anywhere you feel sort of blockage and unpleasantness needs to open. So the nerve electricity, there's some muscle that's in the way with tension. Can it soften a little bit? And if you need to move that muscle in order to make it softer so that it flows through, do that, right? That's the process. So just one more minute here of that. Breathing, intuitive movement, and or comfortable stillness where you don't feel any bottled up energy in the body, bottled up sort of impetus in the body. You might find some stillness there. So just next 40 seconds, 50 seconds. And with this same idea of soft, spacious, open, we go through our movements to induce even more of that. Slide hands forward, drop the head softly round the back, open up all the back channels. Slide the hands back, pull the elbows back, shoulder blades pull back, look up, open up the front of the body. Two more. Sliding the hands forward, drop the head, open the back, and do it with an effortless, easy quality. Again, sliding hands back, elbows, shoulders back, look up. One more. So this loose quality through the whole body. Let's do one more. Is what allows you to feel connected to the ground in a way that is more balanced, right? So that's where this ties into our work of walking, standing, going upstairs. Let's come back to the middle and go right into your rotations. One hand goes forward, other hand and elbow pull back, turn to the direction of the hand and elbow that go back. And just do this about 3-4 times. Switching sides. And like I said, all of these things, all of these practices yield the benefits when they're done daily. Right? So if you're just doing them one time a week with me, then you might see some results. But if you spend a little bit, 15 minutes a day, just being in touch with your body, your breath, your nervous system, you're moving all 24 vertebrae, your shoulders. Let's go ahead and come back to middle, hang the arms, and let's do the sideways lean. Add to this lean the wrist floating up. And what that does just allows us to tip a little further, whereas when this arm is down here, this kind of yanks on body. So we're getting an ability to kind of tip a little extra and a little extra. But again, the body can learn. It learns that if you regularly remind it, hey, you're supposed to be soft, loose, relaxed, moving at all these little nooks and crannies in your body, then you do it every day. The body learns that. Come back to the middle. Let's do our shoulder blade circles. Shoulder blades and shoulders go forward. The chest has to depress and sort of disappear. Shoulders lift up. Roll back over the top. Squeeze shoulder blades together and slide shoulders down the back and do it again. And these movements, the only way you're able to do them is from the brain. So at first, these movements are difficult to do because there's muscular, impediment, but there's also just the area of the brain that is less trained, less cultivated. Let's go reversing the shoulders, back and up, forward and down. But then over time, you get that brain through the nervous system to the areas of the body. You get those relationships set really nicely, and they start to really flow. And that happens more and more and more the more regularly you practice. And we're back to neutral. Bend both elbows. Bring the hands up. Let's go elbows out and up. And then down. And then in towards each other. Touch the elbows together if you can. Feel how that opens up your back. And then elbows down. Out and up. Down. In. So basically we have like starch. We have density and tension trapped in all these little nooks and crannies and niches in our body. Let's go ahead, elbows back. And these Qigong practices go forward, possibly forward and all the way up. And then forward and down and back. And notice where my hands end up when my elbows go forward and up. My hands end up going down the back. So we're de-starching the body so that we're less top heavy, so that we have the potential for looseness. All right, now elbows out, one hand above, one below. Right. Elbows out. closing in the front. Feel that closed position, and that opens the back, and then open in the front. And then close the front, open the back. And then open the front. In, down, and release. Scoot a little bit back on your chair, making sure you feel very stable, and then lift. So this is thigh bone lifting and heel pulling in. That's called chambering. It's like a spring loading up, and then push, and then reload and set it down. Chamber, push. So we're switching legs. Chamber, down. Do it again. Chamber, push. Chamber, down. Chamber, push. Chamber, down. Do that twice more on each side, please. So again, in a matter of 15 minutes, let's go ahead, straighten your right leg, hold it out there, point and flex. 15 minutes, you can have gone through essentially the whole body and connected brain to body and opened up all these areas. Let's go in, out. That's invert, evert, and then circles. And so you have to be sort of experimental in the sense that you say, okay, I'm going to try to do something like this every morning, network my brain and body, loosen up my stiffness, and see if that produces a positive result. My theory would be that, of course, how could it not help you to do these sort of fundamental brain-body networking practices before heading throughout your day? Circles. And because they're so fundamental and simple, we often overlook them. Go ahead the other way. We often get thinking, well, I got to do something more intense. I got to do something more involved to create results. But the reality is, especially with Parkinson's, but this is for everybody, just getting this brain and body to have the right relationship with each other is the key to all the things you would want to do, whether it's boxing, hiking, dancing, whatever it is. And so this is just fundamental practice, right? Go ahead and scoot forward on your chair again, all the way to the edge. Swivels. So now we lift the ball of one foot and turn the whole leg out. Then we slip the heel out, the knee comes in. Toe out, knee out. Heel out, knee in. And final time, open. And then walk it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This is a unique command from the brain. External rotation, internal rotation. External, internal. Final time, external, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're back. Let's do it the other leg. External, internal, external, internal. Hold. In, 2, 3, 4, we're back. Once more. 2, 3, 4. Open. In, 2, 3, 4, and back. Now double. It's just 3. Open 1. Heels out, knees in 2. Toes out, knees out. That should be about your maximum. And then in. 2, 3. Out. 1. Heels out, knees in 2, 3. And in. 1, 2, and neutral. Forward folds. Hinge at the hips. Sit back upright. Do that 3 more times. Optional, add Notice the arms swivel on the hands, on the knees, the elbows point forward. This just opens up your back a little bit more, decompresses, decongests. So it's a turning of the arms, kind of like we did earlier, except adding that to a forward fold, just to get that lower back and middle back opened up. Last one. And then step your feet wide apart. The dragon takes a bow, folding at the hips right through this canal here, the quad. And as you fold, turn your arms into this little dragon position. And that gives you a nice sturdy frame to support you. And then just let the torso, the rib cage, the head go as far down between the elbows as possible. And then rise back up. And forward. So we're opening spaces here. And back up. One more, or two more, I'm sorry. Great. So that's our opening. We did that in 17 minutes. Bring the hands up and over. Settle down through the middle. Hands set right in the middle. So now you could just go about your day. That little module or little bite-sized set, and the better you get at it, you could probably do it in less time, but do it regularly to reset brain and body, open up the spaces, de-starch your different little usual suspects for tension. And you have to experiment. Does that create an easier movement quality through your day? Now, bring the legs hip distance, feet back a little bit, standing up and sitting down, folding. Soft, 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 head and shoulders forward beyond your ankles, and then push through the earth and rise. And then butt goes back, then you let the butt sink, and that bends the knees, and we're back to neutral. A couple more. Forward, soft and relaxed. So Bruce, remember the whole thing is don't oomph. Don't oomph. Fold soft, 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 soft. Keep going soft. Keep going softer. Forward more, almost like you're falling forward out of your chair a little bit. And then once you're in your legs and not your chair, then you're ready to go up. So that's the hardest part until it's not. Now let's do just with the squats where the butt goes back and you sink and you rise. So don't sit in your chair, just get that loose middle space there. Loose. Last one. Butt back, sink it, rise it, and we're there. Great. Now, from here, body weight just softly over through your right leg. And then body weight softly through your left leg. Just feel that you can execute that body weight shift. Right leg, left leg. Especially for those of you that feel, David, I know you've mentioned that being up on your legs and doing complex things on the legs is a bit much, but this would be your home run hit. If you just multiple times a day stand up, make sure you've got a good vertical line, because a lot of the mistakes people make, not just with Parkinson's, just with people as they're aging, is that they never quite get vertical. So they're somewhere like this, and there's a lot of stress in the body in this shape that is relieved when you get yourself upright. So now you're fitting inside of gravity. Make sure your arms are hanging loose rather than holding your body like that, or sometimes people hold here, they hold like this. Let go. And then with that vertical line, just work on letting the vertical line get through the right leg more than the left. So this one's a little emptier. and then through the left leg more than the right. So this one's a little empty. And then right leg more than the left, and left leg more than the right. And if this is all you did multiple times throughout your day, you're training this internal mechanism. You're getting what they talk about in the kidneys and the adrenal glands, this little movement right in the middle back, which in Chinese medicine is very important. They talk about what that does for the overall energy flow of the abdominal organs, which is where everything sort of feeds out from. And so just this practice here of walking in place, separate yin and yang, right? That's like one of the most basic fundamental practices. And if you're at the store or you're waiting in line or you're doing anything, you can just be doing this, just right in place. And with the dyskinesia quality of the body, I've noticed with some of my clients that this actually helps to get that dyskinesia through. Whereas when you try to hold still and the body's got all this energy going through it, it's sort of throwing you off balance. But if you let it go over here and then you let it go over there, you're allowing that sort of snake-like energy to move through you and you're not resisting it. So keep that in mind. Now we take this practice one level up. Make sure you're close to your support. Empty this, my right leg, I'll say your left leg. Lift the heel, get to the tippy toes, and then land that foot back down and change to go through the left leg, right leg empty. Lift the heel, get to the tippity tips of the toes, and then put the foot down and change. So now we just add same walking exercise, except the foot that's empty, float it to the tippy toes. Put it down and then change into it, float. Put the foot down, change. Add to that, possible lift, back down, change. Lift, back down, change. If any of these stepping up the ladder of difficulty is too much, you just stay at the one below or go back a level, right? But you notice the teacup on your head can stay still. There's not this tipping and leaning. It's just this soft change of weight. Then you could lift. Put it down. Change of weight. Lift. Then you can put it down. Last one. Now, as this foot is empty, float it out in front. So this should be your inside leg closest to the chair on your right. Heel touching the floor, empty. Rock. As you're now in your front leg, you should be on the toes of your back foot. And then rock back. Now you're on the heel of your front foot. Rock, toes of your back foot. Rock, heel of your front foot. This is level one. Those of you that have your hand on your chair, notice, are you at the point where you could take your hand off the chair and do level one? Right, like Ilana, I see you holding that chair, but you look as though you could probably execute this without it. So you notice that takes you out of being and puts you right in the center of you. But it's there if you need it, right? Now let's go to level two. This is where you might definitely need the chair because lift, put it down, shift. Wait for the back foot to be empty. Now bend the knee, the heel comes towards the butt. Put the toe down, shift back. Lift, lower, shift forward. Lift, lower, shift back. Continue. And then you might find, okay, my chair is there. I feel like I could use it, but I'm going to try no hand. All right, don't put yourself at risk, but challenge your edges. It's key that you do challenge those edges and try to relax at those edges. And finally, level three. So not only lifting, but bending the knee and bringing the knee up, then the heel down, then shift. Back foot, not only heel to butt, but bring the knee forward and up. So the knee is in front of you here. And then reach the toe back. Reverse. Up, down, shift. Up, back, shift. Up, down, shift. Up, back, and shift. Let's switch sides. Feet together. Take a side step so you're closer to your other chair. Inside leg, this leg closer to the chair, goes out in front on the heel, and then rock. Level one, and rock. So remember, level one, the feet never leave the ground, but you're feeling the change of using the front leg as your root connector, and then you change to using your back leg as your root connector. Front leg, back leg. Front leg, moving from your middle, back leg. Make sure your body's upright. Remember what I said, if this is happening, this becomes 10 times more difficult. Even though you feel safer because you're closer to the ground, you have to get that verticality so that that effortless quality starts to be what you're practicing. Just this melting through movement. Melting through movement. Now, level two, lift, lower, shift. Heel to butt, lift, toe down, shift back. Lift, lower, shift. Heel to butt, toe touch, shift back. How's your teacup doing? Notice your arms, keep them relaxed. Now let's go level three, where it's knee up, foot down, shift. Knee forward and up, toe reach back, shift. Keep reminding yourself, and I'm just going to use what I thought maybe I saw. Your hands were on your back, and it might be because there's some pain there. So if this is happening in the back, your butt sticking back, and you're doing these exercises, the pain goes right there. So try to get a feeling of tail through, right? So this through quality, that's one of the key Tai Chi concepts, is that we're not here with the butt, we're through. And when you're through, now you're in the buoyancy of your legs, and then that's the exercise that we're doing, right? We're shifting through this leg while keeping that tail through quality, keeping that even as the leg lifts, keeping it as the leg goes back, shifting back. So right through that space back there. And so if you want to reach back and actually point the fingers and guide this sort of quality as you're doing it, you can, right? And just keep coaxing through until you feel like, oh, you can actually sustain that throughness. So keep that in mind throughout the whole practice, in this class and in the Friday class. Through, right? Let's go back to this side. Inside leg should be your right leg. This is my left, your right. Next exercise, level one. Could have hand on chair or not. Roll through, rocking chair. Now this back foot empty, just swing it out and touch the heel. And then one more time, rock forward. Let's rock back. Front leg empty, swing it back, touch the toe, empty, rock back. Do it again. Rock. Wait for it to be empty, swing it, rock. Rock back, wait for the empty. Then move an empty foot, which moves with absolute effortlessness. Rock back. Rock, swing, rock. The better you get at right leg full, left leg full, that technique is what makes walking start to happen more fluid. Relaxed through. Let's go level 2. Hand on chair as needed. Lift, lower, shift. Wait for it to be empty, the back foot, so you can step up and over. Put down the heel empty, shift. Back foot disconnects from the floor, reconnects, toe touching, rock back. Wait for it to be empty in front so you can lift it in front. Bend the knee, push the foot back, toe touch, shift back. Up in front, down, shift. Obstacle, up and over, shift. The whole time floating in the middle. So this feeling of settled, sitting, floating, never disturbed. Lift, lower, shift. And so that point I was making about the low back going down and through, the combo of that and the crown going up is what decompresses your spine. Right? So again, I'll use Karen, you as an example. You probably feel some there, and I know you feel pain here. Both of those things are addressed by tail going down, chin coming down, crown going up. Over time, that space is opened up. And then you're keeping that space while you're doing all your Tai Chi and everything else, right? So that's the unseen. It's kind of an unseen layer. Let's go level 3. Knee, down, change, then heel, knee, foot, lower, change. Bring that knee forward and up, back, shift back, knee up, push foot behind, shift back. Still floating right in the middle here. Just floating, relaxed as this outer body explores its range, but the inward space of stillness undisturbed. One more. And change sides. Level 1, inside leg, heel is empty, touching the floor. Rock. Once the back foot's empty, swing it forward, heel touch, empty. Rock. Reverse. Shift. Swing back that empty foot, toe touch. Shift. Rock. Swing. Rock. Rock back, swing back, rock back. Rock, swing, rock. Back, swing, back. Couple more, level 1, where you're feeling that essential skill of one leg is that full leg, other leg is that full leg. Changing, then stepping, changing, changing, then stepping, changing. Level 2, lift, lower, shift, wait for it, step over something, heel, foot, over, touch, shift, back foot, lift, reverse, back. Up in front, bend the knee, push the foot back, touch the toe to the ground, shift back. Lift, lower, shift. Step over that obstacle, still floating here in the middle. Foot lifts, lower, shift. Still floating, floating, floating. The whole time floating. Let's go level 3. Lift, lower, shift, still floating, heel to butt, knee forward and up, foot out, down. Shift, knee up, foot back, shift, up, tuck, reach back, shift back, lift, lower, shift, big step, shift, knee up and foot back. Important to note, if I turn sideways and do this, I'm not taking huge steps. I'm just putting this foot right here. Shift. But I am challenging that moving leg through a big range of motion, but then I'm not taking a huge step. I'm still practicing my regular step. I'm not taking massive, sort of unnatural steps. I'm just really moving the limbs freely while then still practicing the same walking. One more. And all this does is just give your brain this understanding of how vast the range of motion is of the body. So we're not stuck inside this narrow space. We're free, loose, open, right? Now, so I'm bringing my chairs back so I have a little runway here. You should have a runway across your chairs. Come to one side of your runway so you have enough room for about 5 steps or so, maybe 6 steps that way. Empty one foot, put it in front, the heel touching. Level 1, shift. Swing an empty foot, land an empty foot, shift. Swing an empty foot, land an empty foot, shift. Swing an empty foot, land an empty foot, shift. Now be careful here because we're going backwards. So you got to make sure you have your chairs where you need them, right? Shift. Shift. Swing the foot back. Shift. Swing the foot back, empty, shift. Let's do that again. Shift, swing, shift, swing, shift, swing, shift. Reverse. Level 2, lift, lower. Now think you're coming up and over with each step. So we're going up over something and putting the foot there, shifting into it, and then going up and over something and shift. Up and over, shift. Up and over, shift. Reverse. So this is key that you get yourself established in the back leg, then lift, tuck, reach, all without changing your weight, then shift. Lift, tuck, reach, then shift. Lift the empty foot, tuck the empty foot, reach back the empty foot, shift. Lift, tuck, reach, shift. Let's do that one more time. Lift, lower. Shift forward, step over an obstacle. Shift. Step over an obstacle. Shift. Over an obstacle. Shift. Shift. And reverse. Take your time. Got your chair there for safety. Great job. Turn and face the front. Get yourself back between your chairs. Shogun. This is that settling down to this middle place. Remember, this middle place, eventually what it feels like is it's floating. So no matter what we're doing outside in Tai Chi, balance, movement, all this stuff, you can see this place is just still. resting and relaxed. So that's the key to Tai Chi, is that we're opening up the feeling of stillness in your middle, right? So with that in mind, come again to the the right side of your runway with enough room to your left, and we'll do our side steps. So we've got the weight going now through the right leg, left foot empty, step it out and in a few times. Your intention here is to have this still place, unmoved. The full right leg retains the fullness, meaning it's the leg that you're using to connect you to the ground. And this one is empty and floating, right? Now step that foot out, leave it out. And we change, so now it's the left leg that you want to be using to hold you up, and then change back, so it's the right leg you're using to hold you up. And then it's the left leg, you change, and the change, see if you can feel, it's as if it's happening underground, rather than coming up over the top and down onto this leg. It's as if you're never not rooted, you're always rooted. And all you're doing is changing which leg is your plug into the root. And now this leg is your plug. And then this leg is your plug. Now stay with your left leg as the plug. Bring the right foot in and out a few times. It's empty, so it's free. It's as free as an arm. So you want to feel 1 full and 3 empty, right? Now bring the right foot in, keep it in, change the weight to the right leg, then change back to the left leg. So notice now the feet are touching if possible, and you're working on making one leg the full, the other empty, and then changing that by going down and through, and then change and change. Feel this internal mechanism, slightly changing leg to leg. Now, the next time you're through your right leg, left foot is empty, step that left foot out, keeping it empty. Change so your weight goes through the left leg, right foot empty, bring it in. Change the weight through your right leg, left foot empty, step it out. Change, right foot comes in. Change, out. Change, in. Change, out. Change, in. One more this way and then switch directions. Switch directions by staying in that left leg, come in with the right, out with the right, and we go this way. Change, bring that left foot in. Change, step that right foot out. Change, left foot in. Shift without stepping, step without shifting. Shift without stepping, step without shifting. Shift without stepping, step without shifting. Let's go there and back one more time. Some of you who've been doing this a while, you might start to feel, especially as you relax into the movement, the opportunity for swiftness. As I go through that leg, this one's free, so I can step it. As I get there, I bring this in, so it happens almost simultaneously. Change and step. Change and step. Change and step. Change and step. Go back. Out. Change, step. Change, step. So this is that swiftness that can be available through training Tai Chi. And it's not rush. It's the opposite of rushing. It's being so still, so relaxed that all of a sudden you can create changes in movements with ease. And that makes it speed. That allows the speed flow. All right, Shogun, closing. And rotational steps. Make sure you're between your chairs. Right leg turns out. Shift into the right leg, turn the body, bring the left foot to match it. Weight goes through the left leg, right foot turns out again. Shift, turn, and rotate. Another quarter turn. Empty the right foot, turn the right foot out. Shift and turn. Empty the right foot, turn it out. Shift and turn. Let's go around again to your right. Same rule applies. Those of you that have been practicing for a while, you can play with this simultaneous, instantaneous type stuff where as you let the left leg be your support leg, the right foot empties pretty quickly and you can turn it out almost instantaneously, like change and turn. And similarly, shift and bring. And then change the left leg and turn the right foot out all in one event. And then bring around and together. Change, let's go around 3 times to the right. Boom. So you can practice speed over time. Once you have the principles. Once you actually feel what softening through movement is like. Let's go the other way. Left foot empty, turn it out. First one, again, maybe you take it extra slow just to make sure you're not turning the foot till it's empty, then turning it, keeping it empty, shifting and bringing that foot around, keeping that foot empty as you bring it around, and then changing, turning out, changing, bringing it, change, turn. Go around twice more. Possibly as you feel this polishing and sloughing off of tension, you start to feel like, oh, you can move efficiently, turn, turn, without adding a bunch of tension, without breaking the principles. You can actually start to efficiently, you might say quickly, without disturbing your inner stillness. Now, the other position where we, instead of turning the right foot out, we pigeon toe a little bit and then change the weight into the right leg and quarter turn to the left. Pigeon toe the right foot, shift, and a little quarter turn. Pigeon toe, quarter turn. Pigeon toe, quarter turn. Continue around. Same idea. Empty the foot and pigeon toe. Change the weight and bring the other foot without putting weight in. Change the weight and pigeon toe the empty foot. Change. Empty a foot, it's free to turn. Empty the other foot, free to come in. Once you understand the choreography and the idea behind the exercise, that's when you get to start practicing soft, float, ease. After you get around that third time, switch directions. Left foot, pigeon toe. Change and rotate. Left foot, pigeon toe. Change. Empty one, the empty foot is the turning, moving foot. You can achieve one empty, one full in the legs. That's like 90% of the battle. And if you can achieve that and understand the floating middle, after you get around, let's go that third time around, then we're going to put it all together. Take a moment if there's any dizziness from that spinning and turning. Now we're going to go to the right, and it's going to be right foot turn out, shift onto the right leg, pigeon toe left foot, turn it in, and then shift into the left leg. You should be able to be 180 degrees from where you started in 2 foot movements. And then you do it again. Right foot turn out, that's 1 foot movement. Shift onto it, turn the body and pigeon toe that left foot. That's the 2nd foot movement. And now you're back to 180 degrees. You went a full 360 and you're facing forward again. Let's do that again. Right foot, shift, turn body, pigeon toe foot, shift and turn. Right foot turn out, shift, come around, pigeon toe. Let's go one more time to the right. After you've gotten around facing forward, 3 of them to your left. Left foot turn out. Shift without stepping. Step and pigeon toe without shifting. Shift and turn the body and turn out and step without shifting. And then shift and turn and pigeon toe step without shifting into it. And then shift and turn. Shift and turn. Keep that vertical line. Remember, if you don't have the vertical, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on that throws you off, that creates tension in the body, which creates starch in the body, which creates weight in the body. Make your way around that third and final time. And middle. Shogun, arms up over the top. Settle, 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 settle. Stand there in the middle for just a moment. And then finally, to develop that little bit of oomph, that ballistic, explosive quality of the legs. So you'll need your chairs, of course, for safety. Be back behind the chairs so that when you're moving forward, the chairs, everything's still within your range to assist you. So what I mean is you don't want to be at the front of your chairs with them behind you, because we're going to go forward and back, and you want your chairs nearby. So make sure you're back and the chairs are in front of you. Now, empty your right leg and put the heel out in front. Remember how we've been doing this kind of effortless melting movement. Well, now this one, as you shift back, feel that you have this spring-loaded, slightly bent back leg. Should be your left leg. It's my right, your left. And this foot empty in front. And now you're going to do an advancing step by pushing off and bringing that left foot, sort of dragging it forward, but keeping it empty. It's empty, and this leg is now slightly compressed like a spring that's loaded. And then you push off and retreat. So this is an advancing step where we're covering more ground. We're advancing and then retreating. The other important piece to this is that now that we're adding momentum, we're adding a forward momentum and a backward momentum. This skill of bringing that momentum down through the body so that we're not up here going forward and then falling forward, but instead we're going forward and through to the earth, and then backward and through the leg to the earth. Forward, back. And feel the back leg or forward leg, whichever is the full leg, as this push to advance you, and then a push and retreat. Push. Push. So it's the leg strength, but also all the way through the foot. You're pushing off the ball of the foot and the ball of the foot. There's this pushing, right? A push into the ground, which then propels forward, back, forward, back. Switching sides. Make your way over to the other. Inside leg, empty, out in front. So it's floating. Back leg is not only full, but it's not a stilt. It can't be a straight stilt. It has to be slightly bent to have that potential to propel you. Once you're there, advance and drag this foot forward, slightly hovering the ball of the foot, and then push off your front foot and retreat. The momentum goes through the leg to the floor. Through the leg to the floor. So you're transferring it or allowing it to go to the floor. Floor. Soft and loose in the upper body, empty up top, right? Loose. Loose. Stays empty. Middle still floating. But there's a swiftness now that you can be practicing. Swift. 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 One more. Swift. Swift. Great. Now, let's do our side to side movement here. So your chairs, keep them in front of you. I'm going to step out in front just so you can see what I'm doing. So now this side leg, we'll say, this is my right, but your left leg empty, right? Empty. Right leg slightly bent, spring loaded, right? And transfer it through to the earth. Push and slide. Push. Push. I don't know how many of you are basketball fans and watching the playoffs, but this is basically the defensive slide in basketball. So this is where they make their way laterally to stay in front of their when they're on defense. Slide. Floating. In a way, the teacup. Still controlled. And notice there doesn't need to be a hop. You can stay connected to your root. Never come unrooted, but yet move and back to middle. Shogun. Hands, groin, front hips, sacrum and tail, lumbar. And then like you're squatting, butt back and sit the butt. Hands slide down the outer legs, around to the inner legs, stand back up, the hands come up to the belly button, around to the sacrum and tail, as if sitting, sliding down, coming around and up. One more, sacrum and tail, yang channels down, yin channels up, and then up the outer arm, turn, down the inner, and off. Up the outer, down and off. Up, down. Up, down. Up. And switch. Up the outer, and yang channels, yin channels. Yang, yin. And final closing. Settle. And seal the practice. One hand over the belly button, other hand over that hand. Relax your shoulders, your arms, everything loose. All right. And then that Taoist bow here, there. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. If there's any couple of questions or thoughts, any insights, the same exercises that we've done, just do them more and see what effect